Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cities Skylines. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I certainly am because I just spent 4 hours doing a complete overhaul on my industry here in the city. And as you can see, I'm adding a new interchange so we can connect this new area where I'll put down my new industry as well. And it's just next to the old area of the city. You'll be able to see it very soon when we turn the camera over. So it's just next to the end of the map there, or at least the tile that we have. And this will be the main entrance for this area. Now I'm leaving the standard industry behind, and I'm just working on the specialized industry. So we will start here with the new, well, not new, but the uh, the farming industry, and I'll just doing some wave arounds there on the highway just to make it more interesting as well. And I noticed later on that there was one connection wrong, so I'll come back and fix that. But for now, this is the entrance for this area. As you can see, the terrain is actually pretty good over there. And we have that open area, and then it slightly slope into the residential area in the old industry area as well. And that industry area is going away very, very soon. So here are the main connection to the highway, and I'm adding the entrance and exit to that highway. And although I did something similar on the other side of the city for the latest residential area that we did, I want to do something a little bit different here. I did this connection, and to be honest, I didn't like it, even though I left that for some time in there. I went back and redid the whole, not the whole thing, but just the this bridge that goes above the highway, because it doesn't look good at all. And I couldn't make the slope to go to that bridge a nice slope, a nice ramp, and I didn't actually like that. So I did some tries in here, trying to make sure that I had some guides in there and making that connection. And as you can see, I was just trying to make that going straight. And I think that's how I left it. I think I just pulled the um, the corners there a little bit, so it had a little more interesting shape, as you can see now. But I still didn't like that, so I'll come back later and change that. But for the moment, I'll make sure that I uh, start doing my new industry, which will be the farm industry in here. So I've put the right um, type of industry down there, and I start laying out the buildings that I wanted. So I look at the size uh, of these farms, and I kind of like the way it looks, just lining them up like that. And I think this makes a lot of sense. I just put down one silo at the beginning, but that will definitely need to be um, redone. And I did that later on because that is a lot more produced than one silo can hold. So that'll be good. I think we achieved up to level 2. I put some buildings from the level 2. I don't remember if we get to level 3. I think at the end we did, but I didn't do anything. And here I'm laying down the new train line, and I'm just looking at how I would do that. And then I decide to lower the highway underground and have the train station just above there. I think this is starting to take shape now, and I really happy with how this end up looking. It's the way we finish this is very um, it's not raw, but there is plenty of room for expansion and improvements. And I'm really happy with that because usually, as you saw at the beginning of the on the old part of the town, everything is so packed that you don't have space for anything. If you want to updates, upgrades, or change things, you can do any of that. So it's good to see that in this area I do have a lot more space, and that will help me a lot. I'm putting down this kind of square about, and I just want to make sure that we had easy access to the train station. Uh, Obviously, I realized later on that that connection would have to go the other way, so I changed that because I think now it's on the right way already. Just because the way the trucks get into the station and get out. And now I do have the final layout to cross and connect those two roundabouts as well. I think this looks quite good going that way. And it changed a little bit the way we usually did the interchange in here. I think that looks pretty good, and I like how I've connected almost to the corner. A roundabout doesn't have a corner, but in an angle, getting into the roundabout there. And I think that looks pretty good. And it's a little bit different as well from what we are used to do. And like this episode will be big. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is a little bit over 4 hours of footage, and I redone everything that I had related to industries. So train lines for the cargo. I've redone the fishing industry. I've done the new farm industry, and I've removed the generic industry as well. So this is my first trial at connecting the train station, train line to the main line over there, which I changed at the end of the video as well, because I think I did something better later on. And I saw that there was like so much traffic going into there. And I was like, well, what's going on? And then I saw that there was one connection that was not allowing people to get off the highway there, just there. And I fixed that and all the traffic went away. So it's much better now. So remove the old train station there. I might come back with a normal passenger station there somewhere and connect to the main line as well. But for the moment, I think I haven't done any public transport or anything at all in this area. And now I'm starting to move all the services as well. So the first one is the power stations. So all the solar towers moving to this new area as well. So it looks better not having it in the main area of the city in this whole area. And then I'm removing all the old buildings there just so I can see what I have to move. And then I'm making this a little bit more interesting and not just having a cliff over there. And I'll start preparing to move some other things as well. I think I've prepared the area here for one more industry, but I decided to put the other services in that area because then we wouldn't mix the traffic with the farm traffic, which could be quite a lot. And I moved all the incinerators and the recycling centers, which is this big building that we have into this area, and I also moved that last one that we've put next to the river into here as well. So they're all in the same area. It's all for them in there, and they all go to the same place, and they have connections to the highway, which is very, very important. All this area is very close to the main highway and has access to all areas in the city. So here I made sure that I had just one railroad, so they um, they would make a mess in this area. And then I moved the water services to this place as well. So we wouldn't have this spread out around the city. So pollution, this is the area for that. So the ground pollution here will be probably a little bit high, but this is very secluded, very far away from the main residential area, the main area of the city. And so I don't really mind that. And putting out down all the pipes there, and this whole area here, I'm just uh, removing all the buildings, so the old industry and even the roads, I'm removing them, and we will work on that later on. That is a very good area to do something nice. I don't know yet what I'll do there. If I have an idea, just let me know in the comments. But I think this would be a nice area for us to work with, and with a lot less traffic now because we don't have those trucks just utilizing that area. At the end of the video, I will show you how all the traffic looks, where all the trucks are going, and I'll get into more detail on everything that I'm doing. I'm just doing the proper districts in there, so it looks good. It's on the right place, and I'm just trying to get a one-way road here, just to make sure that the traffic would be all right there. And I'm doing the animal, how's it called? It's not animal industry, but just to have cows and some animals so we can use meat as well. And then I'm changing some of the crops just to make sure that we have a nice color there, a nice mix. And this actually, I'm looking at traffic at the moment and how the trucks are behaving. And there are a few areas that I have to change. So this area, I'll have to change a little bit because they are struggling in that upper part of the square about, and here at the entrance as well. As you can see, we're starting to back up traffic there, and we can't have that in this area. I think we just saw the industry leveling up, the farm, which is very, very good. And I've changed the roads there just to look a little bit better because the speed was higher as well. And this area here next to the farm, it's not a dirty road. I could actually do that thinking about it now, but I think this old industrial road is very, very nice as well. And then I moved to the other side next to that area that we've built recently, where we have that transport hub. And here I'm building a new cargo station. And the reason for that is that we are gonna have a fishing area here. So I'm putting a road there because I'm doing the quays over there, and it was too low, the water was flooding, I had to do some adjustments in there. But I think this area, well, this is a fishing area, so nothing really special about it. It just looks good with all the fishing boats. It's also good to see that we have more fish now, and we also have um, more profits in the fishing industry as well. And the reason why I'm building that cargo station there is because this will be a very important connection for all the fish. And so all the exportation goes to that cargo station over there. And if we need some trucks coming along, or if we need to export via road, then we have a very close connection to the highway as well. So I've used that key over there, but I'll change that later because I actually found another one that looks a little bit better, and I this one, especially for this area. The other one looks nicer for a place where you have a lot of pedestrian walking around as well, because it has that nice little detail at the front there. But this one feels like a good fit for this place. And then I'm just repositioning everything, making sure everything is level. And there we go. We have all that area, and I'm putting some farms as well. So in here, I have only salmon fishing because this area of the river is just full of salmon. And I've replaced those farms to algae because they are much more profitable. So it's much better to have algae than the standard farm, fishing farm, whatever it's called. So again, I'm doing a kind of a square about in here, and I'm working on the connection to the fishing area. As this is very, very low and that area is very, very high, I'm working on a tunnel here that we can go underneath the highway and make that connection to the train station over there. I obviously have to rework the slope there because it was too steep, but I think at the end it turned out to be very, very nice and smooth ramp over there. I put down some rocks over there just to fake or hide the entrance a little bit, and I think this looked pretty cool. So yeah, I like the way it looked. I might do a little bit more rocks along the edge there just to make sure that they look good, because I think if we had a rock cliff there, this could be nice as well. I don't know, just an idea. We might take a look at that later. So I drilled the roots for the fishing area, and we have to see if that was too much or not enough, and end up to be very short for all the routes that I've done there, and I had to rework that. But anyway, that's fair enough. So I will also add a new um, the factories in here actually. So I'm just figuring out the way I want to do it so it doesn't look too weird and I have enough space to put those factories. I end up putting 4 of them, and I think they look quite good there next to the highway, because usually when you get close to the city on a highway, you see those huge um, buildings, not buildings, but like warehouses and factories like that, and they look pretty good there. But then you saw me removing all the old fishing area, so everything will be in this side now, and we can do something nicer in that area as well. And I'll start working on the highway connection now for this area. I've done this in a way, and when I start to think about how trucks will get in and out of this area, I rethought the way I want to do this and I move things around a little bit. But this was my first try, and I was just thinking here about getting in and out of the warehouse over there. But then this doesn't quite work because we have the train station and we need trucks not just going one way, but going like on both sides of the highway. We have the fish as well coming in and out. Actually, the fish just go out, that doesn't come in. But yeah, I had to redo the work in there when I start thinking about that as well. But then this was quite easy to do, just following the original idea here for the connections and just the way we get into the highway there will be a little bit different. As you can see, I'm starting to redo that as well, making sure that I had a connection over there that I could bring into that area. There are a few ways that I could do this. I think the way it looks now, it's working fine, so I won't change that. But it could be better, I believe. I think we could do something a little bit different. But at the moment, I think I'm happy with how it is, and we don't need to change that. So it's all right. So I'm working here on the overpass to go to the left side of the highway there and making a nice curve and working on the connection there. Again, I work on the dirt road here because they are easier to manage on these lines and making sure that they connect properly. And then we can just upgrade for the ramps. And as you can see, there is a pylon there that's not actually in the right place. I'll remove that layer. And there you go. And then I'll start putting the ramps in there and making sure that they all connect properly. Although this area was quite easy to do, like the idea was very simple and there wasn't much that need to happen here. Was two ways in, two ways out on both sides, so was quite simple. But I changed this to a roundabout there because there was like a three-way interchange and I didn't like that. I think the roundabout would work much better for the traffic. And I'm now working on a separate cargo line. So just if we are going into that cargo station, they can use it and not cross with the passenger lines as well. And to do that, I've redone the whole connection here. So I'll start doing this side, and then I noticed that I would like to change the other side as well because it was connecting on that middle line over there, middle railway. And then I look at this bridge and I was like, that bridge looks a little bit silly at the moment. Let's lower that and make sure it looks a bit nicer. So the bridge is the same height. I think it's 13 meters from the highway. And then we go slowly down here. And I made a nice curve in there as well to connect to that area. And now I'm working on the other side there. So as I mentioned, I've redone that connection. And there you go. And then I'm repositioning all this because the cargo trains, they don't need to go on those two lines up there. So then I've redone the connection here, went side by side, and then connect just before we merge, just before we go over the highway. And then I removed this bridge as well, reconnected there. So remove that tunnel that didn't make sense and level the top of that mountain so it would look much better in here. And then just to make things a little bit nicer, I made a bridge. I first tried this one, but it wasn't really looking good. And I didn't want to change where I merged things. And then I did another one there. So I think this is quite similar from the red one that we have for the highway. but this is specific for railway. So it looks pretty good. I just had to add a pylon at the middle there because it doesn't come with one. I don't know why, or maybe just because we are in the water. But yeah, I think I'm quite happy with that. And then I started working on a pathway here to go to the other side. And I didn't quite like that pathway there. So I changed it to this side. So I just went away for people to get to the fish market. And as I did for the road connection there, I went with a tunnel and I did connect that all the way over to the train station. I think this looked pretty good, and this gives them another option to go there. Although I don't like using too much tunnels, this area was quite challenging for that, and I did have to use it. Otherwise, I don't know. I just don't think it would look any good. And with all these railway connections, I didn't want to mess with that as well because it makes sense to leave them like that. And I've written another connection there for the roads to the other area of the town so they can cross to the residential and commercial area. And then I finally adding those services. I think we are getting closer to the end here. And so adding fire station and police station in these more remote areas. And also we had so many fire stations in this area because of the old industry, and I've removed those as well. So I end up adding a little bit more farm crops in here. So I was just trying to get the correct size for the crops there, but was a little bit challenging at the beginning, but I think I managed that. I didn't make that connection at the end because I don't think we need that yet. But yeah, I think this is looking pretty good, and everything is now separate and they have their own highway connections and cargo stations as well. And here I was looking for the uh, route efficiency for these boats, and I had to increase all those lines, make sure that they were at 100 capacity and not too long as well. Otherwise, if it's too long, we lose time and we produce less. If it's too short, we don't use all that we can, and then we lose money as well. So uh, yeah, I think now we have everything at 100% and very close to a perfect line, and I'm pretty happy with that. And here I'm just making those connections smarter, just so I've added a new connection there, so they can use the internal uh, roundabout there to go to the cargo station and the external to go to the highway connections, which worked pretty well at the end. And as you can see, I've looked there at the routes for the fishing boats, and I had to reduce that a little bit because they were too long. But I think they are working really nice now. And here I'm taking a look at the traffic just to make sure that everyone is using what they should be using and going where they should be going. And I'm happy with the final result there. So, and then something that I usually don't do, and I think I will start doing it because it does make a huge difference at the end of the day. And when you look at the whole city and you start connecting those parts together, you see how a little bit of detailing and some plants around and some props or just some details along the way, they come a long way to make the city look a lot more realistic and a lot more alive. Because this is how it usually works. I just don't want to overdo on the trees because Some areas need it, like if you have more natural reserve, we have a lot of trees there because, well, it's a natural reserve, and I want uh, to make it look like it was really well preserved as well. So, but in this area, as you can see, the trees are more spaced out. I'm putting a fence in there as well, just to protect those power stations. And here I'm looking in a way to detail these roads, and I'm putting some decals there. And but I want to make these roundabouts look good. And I've I was looking for a statue that I could put in there, but I didn't find anything that I quite like it. So I use a fountain in there, which will be, you see that at the ends they look a little bit hidden, but this is on purpose. So I want to use these bright red trees because I just love them and they look pretty nice. And I want to do a mix of different size of bushes and trees here. So as you can see, the border, I have this little bush that I'm using, and I'm using some smaller bushes around, and I'm using these grass, I think this is a park grass, just to finish detailing there. And again, I didn't went too crazy in that area, but I think at the end it looked pretty good. I added some trucks at the cargo station there just to add something nice there. And I'm using some, most are gun trees, but these ones are the vanilla trees from the game. So I'm just filling this area. We might do a park layer in that area. I don't know. That could be something. And here the fishing, I'm just adding some palm trees there because I think they will look great along the quay and in between those buildings. And that's actually looking pretty good. I really love the way it looks. And here I'm doing some parking because we can't forget about parking. In this area, as we have the fish market there, is probably a very good area to have some parking. And although they don't align the upper side and the bottom side there, I quite like the result for this park. This is a bit bigger than we needed, but I think this is good. At least we have something there. Just looking at we're missing a connection there, I noticed that on the old fishing area, we didn't remove the road connections there, but that's fine as well. And I'm redoing this connection because this was too busy. And I think the way it ended up being just with one-way roads there is much better and looks a lot better as well. So yeah, this is almost done. So just making sure that I have everything, doing some more detailing here on these roads, just so they look a little bit more washed out, more used, more broken. And this area, there's a lot of trucks there, so I think that makes sense. So in looking really good. I like it. So you'll probably see me doing more of this along the way and like doing fences like I'm doing here now, and making sure that we do some of those props, some more of those details. I think this will make a lot of difference, and I'm really enjoying the way it's working and it's looking right now. Now I'm just making sure that these connections are all working because I don't want the traffic backing up there. There's a lot of trucks going there to bring goods to the commerce. I'm also doing some more detailing here next to this cargo hub just to make sure that everything looks good in there. I think as I go and I find some new areas, I'll start doing that in the older places that we built as well. And but yeah, I think these are just like the things that make the difference at the end of the day. And I think here is when I redo and finalize the train line there. So I've actually thought about bringing this straight over here because we don't need that curve and the train line getting from uh, below the two highways in there. And this looks much better. Now let's go to the live mode and see how these all look. So starting here on the area of the old industrial. So as you can see, there is nothing more in here, and there is no traffic in this area anymore. If we can take a look at that, as you can see, it's all empty. There is a red pointing there, but I think that's fine. We might have like two junctions too close to get here, and that's the reason why it's happening. But it's all right. And on the connection here to the highway, it's going pretty well as well. As you can see, no traffic anymore, and this roundabout is working much better as well. And we don't have that slip lane anymore connecting the industry in here. I just left this firehouse in here because we're probably gonna use that later on. But let's see how that goes. Let's see. And we don't have any more generic industry, as I mentioned before. We just have specialized industry, and that's all we need. So this is the new area. Looking from the city, that's what you see. We have the water treatments, the advanced inland water treatment plants in here. Then we have all the incinerator and recycling centers. So that's what is called NTE Brutus Incinerator and Recycling Center. It's pretty good, pretty big, and it takes care of the whole city. We do have 4 units in here, and we don't need a landfill. And this is actually taking care of the whole city. We might have too many in here, to be honest, but I'll leave it. This probably save us time along the way. And we are making more money now as well, which is great. The bus depot, I think I haven't mentioned that before. So this is now in this area. I might actually turn this around, just looking at it. The traffic here, they are just crossing each other in there. I might make more sense if I turn that around. Let's just do it. Let's quickly do it. Let me just find the roads, and we can just turn that around. There. So that makes a little bit more sense doing it like that, so they can get in here, stop there if they need, and go around. In here is our cargo station. So we have a roundabout connected to the square about that takes all the trucks to the cargo station there. As you can see, they can enter on the left side and leave on the right side here, and they don't cross each other. So this area is pretty good, is working very nicely. And we do have all the new trees in here, all our new roundabouts in there as well. Police station, fire station. There is a lot of people walking to this area because there is no public transport, but we'll take care of that very soon, so don't worry about that. And here is our new area with all highland cows and our small animal pasture. I was struggling to remember these names on the time lapse, but that's what's called the small crop field in here as well. So we have wheat and corn, and I like how they look with the colors in here. And this is how the changes on the roads, just doing those decals, how they're looking. This is pretty nice. Like this is really look like the cement over there, because there's not asphalt and it's all cement. It's all broken, and it's looking pretty good. By the way, I have plenty of new trucks and cars, as you can see. So you're probably gonna see a few different vehicles around town, and we are still not seeing. Oh, look at that call. I think where I know where that truck is from. So pretty nice area here. Then we have the solar towers in there as well, just with those trees around it. Some agaves in there as well. I use these roads with no markings just because there's no traffic in here, so I don't think we need proper roads in there. But this is looking pretty good. This is our new connection here to the city, and we have 4 roads on each side. This one gets 4, this one splits in two and feeds into the new area. Train line coming down in here and going out there, and then this keeps going and connects to the main highway over there. No change there. Now for the train line, here are the changes that we did. So the new bridge going straight, not so high anymore, looks a bit better. And this area as well, I use the vanilla bridge over there, and then there's splits on both sides. This train's going that way, and as you can see, this is getting, these trains are huge. I don't know why I use that, but I don't know, it's just nice to see. But they are pretty old, so they don't look quite right with the city. I might remove them later. But then they can get to the cargo station there, or overpass the station completely if they wish to do so. And this is the new area. As you can see, some more detailing in here. And I don't know if people are using that. Yeah, they are using that passage in there. So nice. And coming to the fishing area in here, fishing harbor. So we have all our seaweed farms. So I mentioned incorrectly previously. So that's the seaweed farm. And growth stage 4 or 5. So pretty good. And we have all our salmon fishing harbors in here with 100% efficiency, which is fantastic. And as you can see, let me take a look at the whole area there. That's called Perchy Hills. And I don't know why they're not happy there, but anyway. Probably have the wrong team in there. Can I do like a specialized farming area or industry area for fishing? No, I don't. So yeah, I don't know what's complaining, but probably because this area is so badly done. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's just quickly fix that. There you go. Looks much better now. And we have all this side area. Okay, so we do have some profit from the new industry. As you can see here, the farming industry is making 5,000 and the fishing is making almost 3,000 now. That's pretty good and making a lot of money, which is helping our income here. Hopefully this goes up again. But yeah, and they are struggling with lane changes in there. I don't know why they all decide to change lanes on the same place. Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I think this is all that we have here. So a complete redo on our industries. And these lines, I did those with adhesions. They look pretty nice. But yeah, we have this fishing, we have the fish factory here, we have the fish market. And just taking a look at traffic, again, I think we're at 79, 78. So the train just arrived here, so this area just got suddenly busy. But if we take a look at this, so this is where everyone's going and coming from. As you can see, there is a lot going straight to the highway or to the factories or to the cargo station there. Most of the traffic just stays on the highway. Just a few trucks going into the commercial area over there, which is what we wanted. And yeah, they're coming from outside. And as I mentioned before as well, everyone from this area here, from this farming industry, they also have that connection to the highway and to the cargo station. So this area looks pretty good the way it's going now. So we don't have traffic going the other ways. There is a lot of traffic going there just because we don't have any public transport. A lot of people walking around here and using private vehicles, which will change in the near future. But as you can see, no impacts in this area anymore, and or even here. So really happy with this new area. We have plenty of room here to expand. And I think if we look at this, we are using our own production for everything. We are not importing anything, which is just perfect. So we probably can use, you just need more workers to level up to the 4th star. So not really far away, maybe getting more public transport and maybe adding some more pastures in here, we can get to that point. And yeah, really happy with how this is looking. So I hope you guys enjoy this as well. I certainly did with all this new area in here. And let me know in the comments what you think about it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.